I know going from this guy to this guy seems like a huge gap, but with some guidance, you will be stockpiling gear in no time. You're playing the Cycle Frontier and you got questions. Which mission should I prioritize? Which faction should I sell to? Which items should I hold on to? How do I manage my stash? Blah, 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 blah. All that good stuff. So I'm going to be making some assertions through this video. The point is to get you moving in the right direction until you get enough time in the game to make those adjustments for yourself. Now, this isn't just for newer players. If you're having trouble evacing consistently, progressing through the game, and still having a little bit of gear fear, I hope to drop some nuggets of wisdom that might help. Also consider, knowing how to do everything right doesn't mean much unless you can make good decisions in a fight, or if you can't hit your shots. Before we get started, if you enjoy this kind of content, consider leaving a like and a sub. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and lets me know what kind of content you want to see. Thanks for your consideration. Now on with the video. The first thing you're going to want to do is set a goal. What is it exactly that you want to accomplish during the next X number of drops? If you identify that goal, it will make it easier to decide what to do next. With that in mind, we're going to go over some tips to help with common goals. Missions are the most efficient way to earn stacks of cash and XP. Starting off, you should prioritize the mission lines from Osiris, specifically dangerous science, field research, and stimulating developments first. This unlocks your ability to buy strong stems, and the sooner you have them, the better your drops will be. 66% more healing is game changing. Other than prioritizing strong stims, as of right now, I recommend leveling ICA. In my opinion, they have the best spread of strong weaponry. You're going to get a lot of crossover XP from missions and jobs, so you're going to naturally level the other two factions anyways. But if you're having to choose, pick an ICA mission and sell your unneeded stuff to them. If patches have made this statement no longer something I agree with, there will be a pinned comment down below. You're also going to want to take jobs.
They took our jobs!
You can track up to 3 jobs at a time, but you can actually work on more. Item jobs can be accepted and completed instantly if you already have the items. Kill counters and stash missions have to be tracked in order to gain progress. If you cancel them while you have progress, that progress will be reset. So a good strategy is to accept jobs that track progress and remember what you need to turn in for the rest. As you level the factions, more job varieties and 2 more tiers are unlocked. Generally, the hard jobs are better use of your time. Some jobs just aren't worth it, others are too easy to not take advantage of, and some are just iffy. Bad jobs are where you have to turn in a buttload of something you need or something heavy that you don't need, and the payout is only marginally higher than you just selling them, and it's to a faction you're not currently trying to level. Don't take bad jobs, let them rotate out. Alright, quarters upgrades. Short version, do these. The rest, they're whatever. A larger safe pocket is very important to ensure consistent progress no matter how badly you're doing. At 10 pounds, it really opens up the possibilities because many of the important items are at 10 pounds. Arm generator is free money, and the sooner you get this thing leveled up, the better. It adds up after a while. So level it fast so you can
treat yourself.
Want an emote?
Treat yourself.
A gun skin?
Treat yourself.
New melee?
Treat yourself.
Even a Fortuna pass?
Treat yourself.
It's free money. Take advantage of it. Supply crates allow you to have consistent supply of gear, and the higher level up, the better the potential gear you can get. Level 7 is pretty much the highest return on investment. Green and blue bags are always useful. Strong stems, blue guns. Don't sleep on this. I get purple armor sets regularly throughout the season. It doesn't always give great stuff, and the results may vary.
They may cause allergic reactions. Signs include redness, severe rash or itching, swollen face, or trouble breathing.
And finally, upgrade the stash as you need it. You should always try and be ready to upgrade your stash, but only do it once you really need to. Some of the upgrade items will be used for missions, so it's nice to have them handy and use only when starting to get cramped in your stash. Keeping track of what you need to hold on to or sell for all the missions, jobs, crafting, and upgrades could be hard. Not for me, since I made a spreadsheet because I'm a fucking nerd. Or you can now go to the wiki and go to progress tracker. Here you can click ahead and see what items you're going to be needing for missions. For everything else, I don't know, be a nerd and keep track of it, or don't. That's fine too. On that note, we'll be going over some stash management tips. Number 1 on my list is to use gray guns to hold good attachments. A PDW and an AR-55 can hold 7 attachments, not counting a flashlight. Use this method to save attachments for better guns. Second tip, do not buy ammo or meds until you need them. Third tip, if an item is worth keeping one of, it's worth keeping a stack of. One item and a full stack of that item take up the same amount of space. If you're having issues with these items that you have more than one stack of, you can use crafting to manage it. For example, let's say you have 22 old medicine, 12 water weeds, and 21 blue ivy. If you craft blue stems, you'll reduce 3 stacks to 1 and make something useful. Situations like this are hints that you need to make better use of the items in your inventory. Fourth tip, do not claim items you don't need right away on the Fortuna pass. Those can be claimed on an individual basis at any time. Use the pass as storage in the meantime. Now on to loadouts. Your loadouts are going to vary based on a lot of factors. Your faction level, your economy, your goals, and your personal comfort level with running gear available to you. So here's a good blueprint. 2 weapons, with at least one being decent at close range. Ideally, you want to be able to threaten someone at range, but you also need a good follow-up weapon. Even if you're trying to run the lowest of the lowest budget build, bring a second gun. Even a K28 is better than nothing. These are all examples of loadouts that I have regularly dropped with. As you can see, all of these loadouts, regardless of price, style, or unlocks, have a common theme: tactical options. You don't want to be in the situation where you're left useless. I honestly could really get into the weeds here with all the little tips for loadouts. Instead, I'll mention them in the drop coming up. Okay, so now we're going to go on a drop with some commentary. Before dropping, I double check my missions to get an idea of where on the map I need to travel to. I need to kill rattlers in the jungle, so there's a good chance I'll need extra ammo for the possible marauders I may have to deal with. My priority is definitely the ICA mission, and the item I am picking up likely fits in my safe pocket. So no matter what, if I make it to the power plant, it's a win. Things like that, and securing key items you're looking for in your safe pocket, are win moments. Maximize those and your progress will be consistent. So, unless my spawn and evacs are at the top of the map, I'm going to make my way to the power plant. If they are both at the top of the map, I'm going to maximize my time, do the drill site mission, evac, and reset. I double checked my loadouts, made sure I brought the correct bolty, my armor was repaired, and I had smokes and all my items were insured. Always insure your items. If you don't know, it stays on them until you no longer have it, so it's basically a delayed discount. Alright, I see where I spawn and my evacs in relation to what my goals are, and I plan my route. I keep emergency stims ready and my main weapon out as I land. Never underestimate how fast people can get on top of you. Be ready to fight when you land. So I spawn during the middle of the day because it doesn't look like a storm just finished. So there's plenty of people that saw me spawn and there's a possibility they are running at me right now. So I need to clear the area fast. I do a quick stop and listen to see if there's someone in Science Campus running to match my path, but I hear no one. Grab a lucky pure Velocite and throw it in the safe pocket immediately. That's a win moment. So I move on and I run into this guy. His loadout had zero flexibility, and it's likely why I won that fight. Had he spent a small amount of money to just bring an AR-55, he wouldn't have been forced to rush me like that. I heal up in cover, and only once I've determined it's safe, I quickly check his bag. I crouch a couple times while doing so to avoid potentially giving someone an easy headshot. Take only the blue stims, alter nickel, and the bulldog. You can always drop things later, but in the open, right after gunshots, ain't the time or place to be taking your time. I make a note of the recent spawn to my west and run to high ground towards my route. Given the spawn location, one of the likely routes brings the player my way, so I maintain awareness in that direction. I make sure I have the blue stims ready just in case, and shortly after I hear aggro and footsteps. After 2 shots and a lot of running, I determine it's no longer worth the chase and I get back on my mission. Once I made it to the fields east of the water facility, I walked my path to the power plant, which took about 4 minutes. I reorganized my inventory and I stopped to listen a couple of times. I hear various mobs inside the wall, which means there's a good chance that there are no players in the immediate area. I beeline it to the office, clear the room, and complete my objective. It's a big win moment. Also, I don't assume rooms are clear. Sure, if you see mobs inside or you can see through a window or have seen or heard someone leave the area, okay, but use that information you have, don't just assume. At this point, I consider whether I should go back to the water facility and evac or try for the other missions while I'm here. Since I have the objective in my safe pocket and I am very comfortable moving through storm, I decide to press onward. I find better attachments, swap them into my weapons, and drop the gray ones. Gray attachments are very much worth their K marks, but they aren't worth their weight in the bag. They're cheap and easily replaceable, so just drop them. At this point, I get the storm warning. I make a small deviation to go to crash ship to loot and move on. I noticed lightning strikes towards the jungle evac and I decided to move into the dig site, as I suspect that he saw the same near me. As soon as the storm is over, I hear the evac being called. Right after a storm is one of the safest times to call evac. Players stop respawning before you even get to the storm warning, and many players rush to leave before the storm hits. These two factors mean that right at the beginning of the storm, there are the fewest people on the planet. I grab the cameras for the mission and make my way to evac. I smoke the ship due to the recent aggro, gunshots, and previous evac likely to attract attention. The loot is nothing impressive, but the missions complete will net 380 XP for ICA, 200 XP for Korolev, and 13,700 K marks total. These are some of the earlier missions and the payouts just ramp up from here. The items picked up are for specific reasons, so space is not being wasted in my bag. After the turn-in, I replenished my loadout, repaired my armor, sold some items, and went on to the next drop. In regards to selling loot, loot items are used for 4 things: missions, crafting, quarters upgrades, and money/XP, which includes Fortuna Pass XP. Almost all items overlap into these 4 categories, but some items are best used for specific ones. For example, Smart Mesh and Zero System CPUs are primarily used for crafting and missions. Their sell to weight ratio doesn't make them ideal to pick up for the purposes of selling. Items like focus crystals and mob heads all sell for high amounts of XP and money for the weight they take up in your bag. If it's heavy and doesn't sell for much, don't pick it up unless it's for a mission, crafting, or an upgrade. And finally, we're going to talk about gear fear. Gear fear can be defined as having access to better gear but not running it because you don't want to risk losing it. I would add to this that when someone runs better gear, they play more fearfully. Those are the 2 main ways gear fear manifests itself. There are some coping mechanisms players try to use in order to curb their gear fear.
When I have 5 basics, I can afford to lose one. I only run the nice stuff when I'm in a group. That mission isn't worth risking my good stuff on.
Here's the funny thing about gear fear. It's not rational.
Stop acting so stupid!
There's no metric or strategy that I can give you that will magically make it disappear. It's a process you have to work on yourself. So here's a couple of things to help you help you. First thing, watch my fight guide, or rather any fight guide for that matter. Not kidding, by becoming more competent at fighting, you'll be more confident. And if you're more confident in your ability to run your gear, you're more likely to actually use it. In general, get informed, watch guides on everything. The more map knowledge, loot knowledge, weapon knowledge, etc. you have, the higher confidence will be. All that additional game knowledge will teach you how to easily obtain the gear that you want. My Waterfall Labs guide and various other guides that are on YouTube will happily inform you on how easy it is to get the gear. This makes you less fearful of losing it, because you'll have internalized just how easy it is to get it back. Third tip, go fight and go fight hard. Run a budget kit and go push fights. Use the smallest bags and look for spawns and listen for gunshots and full send to that location. You're gonna die, that's okay, but you're also gonna win some. Your deaths are actually more valuable as they will slowly free you of the fear of it. Then you'll be solid and calm in a fight. And finally, and this is just a mental thing, understand and know that you will lose all of your gear. The wipe will come and your gear will be gone. Right up until that final second, you can stare at all the gear you've never really used. And why? You play this game for the fun of it. Really, run that gear. Use that weapon and armor you're afraid to lose. You're learning how to shoot those guns and seeing whether you like them or not, and just how deadly or not they really are. Get a feel for how survivable you are in certain armor, how not invincible you really are, and by extension, how not invincible other players are as well. Here's the real gift of getting over gear fear. You get to have the experience and hopefully the fun and excitement of doing it. The pixels in your stash aren't making the game fun. Your actions, your adventures, and your experiences are what make this game worth playing. And once the next wipe comes, you'll be even more powerful, because one way or another, and let this sink in, gear eventually goes away, but your experience and your skill doesn't. I hope that helps. Alright guys, I want to give a special shout out to my first 100 OG subscribers. It means a lot. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you're not a subscriber already, you can hit that sub button so you won't be a nerd your whole life. And if you've been helped by this guide or feel like I left something out, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, good hunting.